the magic of this sacred place is still here today. Within the rocks of the mountains, these very ancient ancestors of the human race are still here in the ways of rocks of fires, of fiery energy that can be contacted within ourselves when we are within this land, when we are deep in meditation, when we walk this mountain.
We are in the Sinai desert with part of ANIMA team, with Helena, Eva, Maxim, Cecilia, and myself, Joan. And we are here following the steps of our ancient roots, at least in the West. And in this area, as you can see now, we have some trees, but this is an exception because we have a well in the middle of the desert and surrounded by very dry earth and mountains and rocks. And nearby we have St. Catherine Peak, that is the highest in this area and in Egypt. It's 2,600 meters. And yesterday we visited one peak that is the Sinai Mount, that is around 2,300. And as many know, Sinai is a place that is depicted in the scriptures of different religions, in Islam, in the Jewish religion, and in the Christianism. And we have experienced all together this fantastic trip surrounded by these fiery mountains, but also finding these small areas of Mother Earth, and having each one of us a very inner and personal experience, but also having a very cheerful and fulfilling group experience. And we would like to connect all this outer visit with also the inner understanding of these ancient roots that I was mentioning.
If you want to go into literature, this place is central in the book of Exodus, in what that part we call the Old Testament, because for Jews it's just the Torah. And we are in the place where two major events happened to Moses and old monotheism. So just to remember the story, Moses was born Jew, but in order to escape to what we may call a genocide, he was abandoned in a raft and taken by Egyptian princess, and he became he was raised as an Egyptian. And at one point, when he tried to protect a Hebrew, and it was said that Hebrew were serving as slaves, he had to kill an Egyptian and to flee in the desert. And he was there in the desert, and very close to here, he encountered Jethro, who was a priest of Midian, and that man served him as a mentor, as a master, and give him a wife and give him a profession of pastor. So he was in Mount Horeb when the first major event of his life happened. So he saw a bush that was burning, and I've been told that it's a quite frequent event in the desert, that there is a fire that will be produced. But what was completely special about that event is that the bush was burning but not consuming. So he came closer to it, and then he heard the voice of the Lord, who presents himself and who assigned him his mission. Obviously, as he was, as every prophet does, he was not happy at all about taking that mission. But eventually, so the Lord revealed its nature, which is I am what I am. and give him his mission to free his fellow Egyptians. And so then he went to Egypt and started that bargain with the Pharaoh. He managed to get them out of Egypt, and he brought them in the desert again at the very almost the same place of Mount Horeb, and which is Mount Sinai, and he left them there to climb alone in Mount Sinai. It's where he got the table of the law. And this event was probably the most significant event for all monotheism, and you can still there see a mosque and a church. It's a pity there is no synagogue, because we really share that place, the three religions of the book. And so we are very happy to be in that place, because in a spiritual sense, it's an extremely important place.
And this land is indeed very special, because this land is a triangle land looking downward and unifying two very important sides of the world. On the one side, we have Asia and all the Assyrian, Babylonian, ancient knowledge coming directly from the stars in the origin of our civilization, of the Aryan humanity. And on the other side, we have the wonderful River Nile, nourishing in depth all the womb of Africa. And this triangular line, land that is pointing downwards, anchoring the energies, is a land that links Asia with Africa. And it does not only links these lands together, but it also allows the ancient knowledge to traverse from the deep Mesopotamia, where the Babylonians were astronomers, architects, healers, and they built their ancient society based on knowledge coming from the stars. And this knowledge, in a way, fused with the knowledge coming also from the ancient Egyptian culture, and opened together to the Mediterranean to flourish in what is to be the Greek, Roman, and modern Occidental society. And within this seed is where Moses acts as a fundamental character to unite the three monotheist religions that we see today in the transition from the ancient polytheist era of Taurus into the new era of Aries. And as such, he embodies the ancient three lines of religion that were his own origins, blood origins in the Jewish people, with his bringing up as an Egyptian and embracing the tradition of the people of the desert by his mentor and teacher. He brings together all this knowledge to start the path of the hero. And when he was herding and nourishing and taking care of his herd here in these desertic mountains, he was inquiring inside, who am I? Am I a Jewish? Am I an Egyptian? And am I the son-in-law of the people of this land? I am. Who am I? No? And he was meditating inside on his own origin, and when he finds the expression of divinity through this fiery expression of the mountain, and he's told about his own mission, that he is the one to lead the people of Israel out of Egypt into liberty, he asked divinity, how am I to go into Egypt and present myself, introduce myself to the Jewish people and tell them, follow me? What am I to say? Am I to say I'm a leader? Am I to say I am their savior? Am I to say I am the one, your prophet? And the burning flame only said, you have to present yourself saying, I am that I am. There's no name, there's no political party, there's no ethical origin. You have to say, I am that I am. And in that sentence, people will resonate with you and find also inside themselves their own mission and join in their own I am that I am. They will see themselves reflected in your own inner being and find this small sparkle of fire within themselves. And this is what Moses does. This is the moment where he finds his mission and he starts the solar path of the hero. And as Maxim just told us and shared with us, he then goes to Egypt, finds many challenges, magnetize the people of the Israeli community to follow him. They all go out of Egypt. They have to face many difficulties in this solar path of the hero, leading its own people to freedom. And when he has achieved all these steps, he comes back to the point where he had met the divinity. He had left here as a student of knowledge, and he comes back as an initiate. And he finds during all these challenges his own mission, his own identity, and he comes back to receive the identity of his people, to give an identity and a mission, not just by himself now, but to initiate collectively his community. And this is when he leaves his people at the base of Mount Sinai and goes in an inner path of 40 days where he goes deep into the desertic heights of Mount Sinai. And this path of ascension is, in fact, the own path of going deeper into himself to find his own divinity and to be able to receive the laws for the new era, not just for himself but also for his community. So this is a special place where this huge initiate by his own mind manifested the will of God, shared it with his community, and the magic of this sacred place is still here today. Within the rocks of the mountains, these very ancient ancestors of the human race are still here in the ways of rocks of fires, of fiery energy that can be contacted within ourselves when we are within this land, when we are deep in meditation, when we walk these mountains. So this is the gift, this is the precious present that this holy place has to offer, the one that comes humbly looking for the truth.
I think that it would be also interesting to share how we reach here. We get in Egypt through El Cairo, visiting the Sphinx and the pyramids, just as a gate of entrance and to ask for permission for this tour and this visit. After that, we went directly to Alexandria, where we could visit the ancient location of the lighthouse of Alexandria and some places related to master therapies in Alexandria. And after that, we came to Mount Sinai, and in this area that is all this area of desert is called Sinai by itself. And what we met in El Cairo and Alexandria here in Sinai is, in general, I think we all agree, we met people that are very warm, very welcoming. We felt at all moment very well treated, that sometimes we have some kind of stereotypes about other cultures, and we could meet really open, welcoming and warm people. And here in Sinai, very well guided by a Bedouin guide, when we went up to the mountain, we could enjoy the sunset, the death of personality, or the death of the old era. And the next morning, after sleeping in the summit of the mountain, under the sky, our roof were the stars, and it was really amazing. Next morning we could enjoy the sunrise, the birth of a new era, or the birth of the soul. And I think that was a complete experience to fulfill all the meaning of this trip, and not only a personal trip, but something to share through this video and through this kind of materials that we like to share through ANIMA channel.